Brandon, love is in the air. Just got off Valentine's Day, man. We're going to have some fun today talking about relationships, talking about love a little bit. We're going to have some fun. Let's dive into it. Welcome to another episode of Monday Mindset. Brandon, this is episode 16, man. I'm excited. The Monday Mindset is a conversation that offers reflection, encouragement, and next steps to kickstart your week. Brandon, we just got off Valentine's Day. It was Sunday, just got off of marriage night. Man, pumped up, excited for, just want to kind of hear, man, how's Valentine's Day for you guys? Is it a special day? Is it a big holiday or not?
It's a special day for us. It's a time that we're able to just take time, celebrate, kind of look back at over the years. It's one of those special moments. And, usually have like a special dinner and things like that. So it's really cool though. Marriage night landing on Valentine's Day as well. Because it does kind of give you that perspective that a lot of times I think it's funny on Valentine's Day, and while it's important, like very important to spend just like alone time, you and your spouse, is like something like with marriage night that kind of got in my head was, man, it's important to have couples around you that are going in the same direction as you. And man, so for me, that is really cool as well, just like with marriage not being there. But yeah, Valentine's Day is a special holiday for us.
No, I love that, man. I love what you said there. We have always tried to kind of gear ourselves around people that are going in the same direction, who have gone before us and kind of already lived through some things. We've got some, especially if they have kids and things of that nature too, super important. But love Valentine's Day. I love just that reminder, hey, let's get together and just spend some time. We try to hone it back some, but every now and then, man, Malones comes out. And that's like Emily will say, you want to go to Malones? And in the back of my mind, I want to say yes. You know what I mean? But the tight one in me that has a whole of wallet says, oh my gosh, I'm going to just have to eat salad because Emily's got to go all out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's you.
If Abby says, you want to go to Malone's, I'm usually in the car with it started. So, I mean, I'm ready to go.
Man. I get
You want to go to Malone?
Man, please, let's go. You buying though? That's the only way.
There we go.
No, I'm such a tightwad when it comes to this stuff. I've got to work through it and say like it's okay to spend a little money on a good meal. I'm not normally that guy. When I go to Malone's, man, here's what I get. I get the bread and the salad. Beyond that, I don't even care. Because all I want is hot bread and that butter, and then just give me the salad.
Listen, I understand that. I understand it because it is like the best salad. I get mine a little different. I don't like tomatoes, so I get no tomato, extra bacon, and it comes out hot on it. So I do that. But then the hot bread, I agree. But if you had the prime ribeye,
no,
exactly. No. So don't say you don't care until you've had the prime ribeye.
That's the next step.
Potato croquettes, have you had them?
Yes, because you told me about them and I tried them. They were delicious.
They were there.
I will say that sushi roll, the crab rangoon, deep fried. My goodness. Anyways, we got to get out
calamari.
of the
Come on now. I'm going after this. Not really.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
I'm just screaming.
Next podcast, Malones. That'd be great. Mason, coming out of your budget too.
That's right.
So how long have you and Abby been married?
5 years.
5 years. Me and Emily, 5 years as well. Going to be 6 in May. Got some questions for you. I always love this. Greatest lesson you've learned since being married?
I would say you don't know it all, so surround yourself with wise people. So like admitting that you don't know it all, like even about each other, but also like just about like marriage as a whole. Like how am I supposed to handle this? How am I supposed to be a better husband? Like what am I supposed to do? And really, it doesn't end there. I think that a lot of times for people, like marriage is like the end goal. But just being able to continue to learn more about your spouse, grow in your relationship, and grow in a relationship together. Because a lot of times even like while being engaged, we focus on us, us, us. Man, whenever it hits marriage, completely different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say if you're early in your marriage, it'll definitely in 5 years, like to see how Emily has grown in 5 years. It's been unbelievable.
I mean, because she had 2 kids.
And she had 2 kids, man. She has, we stepped out in that as well. So you learn a whole lot. Not only did you have to learn how to be a mom, or not a mom, a wife and a husband, we also had to learn how to be mom and dads.
Yeah.
And we're just growing through that. And so you just get to see tons of growth. Even after that, you see like what would have been like a love language for Emily before has also kind of changed and shifted some. And so we've been learning that. And so, and I think it'll continue to change just as God continues to teach us new things, reveal new things in our life. But there is this connection that is cool, that as we have grown together, we do get to kind of grow closer through that, if we can see that perspective. Sometimes, man, it's hard. Sometimes,
hard.
because as people are growing, sometimes you aren't growing.
Yeah.
And you're like, where was the old wife? You know what I mean? There's some of that. Anyways, there's some struggles there. But no, man, we've grown a ton, and it's been good. Really, really good. Let's see. I love this question. What quality do you most value in a relationship?
I would say it moving in the same direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, and that's one thing that like we had to grow in. And it's with a lot of marriages is communication. And a lot of times, like I would be going one way with her going another, and us not knowing, it would just be a miscommunication issue. And it's like, well, how did you not know? How did so on and so forth. But so I would say like I really find value in moving in the same direction, in communication, and just being clear, having clarity with each other as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like we've worked some, not as much as what we want. Probably the greatest, what do you value most in a relationship is having the same values.
Yeah.
And it's very much connecting with you, but like, do you value self-growth? Like, do we value that as a family? Do we value even just something as like reading? Yeah. Do we value reading together? Is that a part? And that's not hobbies. I just think like do we value learning? That would be a way to put it. Do we want our kids to learn? Do we want to invest in that? Do we value outside time? Yeah. Like playing outside and being outside together. Do we value time alone?
Yeah.
And those are the things that I just love seeing that. So the qualities that I definitely love is just being able to see somebody that wants to take the step of just improving and growing together, that and having values that we kind of live by has been huge. Now this is the one that's going to get a little interesting. Greatest struggle in a relationship.
This is going to be fun. This is fun. No, I would say the lies that come in your mind within a relationship, because you're going to have them. Like that's one of those things where a lot of times, like in dating relationships, I mean, me and Abby are high school sweethearts, and you and Emily as well, right?
Yeah. I was in 8th grade, man. So, she was a freshman. That crazy.
Yeah. So for me, like it was always like in those relationships, you don't really deal with that as much. I mean, maybe a little like here and there from like little drama standpoints, but never from a very, very serious matter. Like for me, just being very open, being very raw and real. And me and Abby, we walked through it. It was, and we've grown through it and super healthy. But there was a time to where, man, the enemy had a hold of my mind to where I was like, man, does she even love me? Like, does she really love me? Does she really care about me? And really what I had to notice was that it was coming from even like a belief within me that I wasn't good enough for her. So why would she love me? Yeah. That I wasn't a good enough husband. I couldn't be there. I wasn't. And so it was constantly something. I was beating myself up, but then it began to twist and turn and be like, have me ask questions of like, or like feelings of, man, she probably doesn't even love me. Man, look at how I am. I'm not good enough. And so I would say like the struggles within it, man, is just learning more about yourself even. like within a relationship. I know that sounds different, but like really learning more about yourself and loving yourself in a relationship to remain healthy.
Yeah.
And I know we'll dive in a little bit deeper
Yeah.
here in a bit, but
No, I mean, just smiling because it's just like, man, the connection that we're having in this, or I think the experience that we have had is just so similar. And I never realized it that, I don't know. I think the biggest thing when we were talking about like love yourself, love others. Well, the reason that we struggle so much loving ourselves is because of the thoughts that we have and the thoughts that we believe about ourselves.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me that the thoughts that I had about myself would be a lot of times even dictated by my spouse. And not saying that Emily has ever done anything to make me feel degraded or make me feel bad, but like the emotional, like perfect story, just a couple weeks ago, man, we're having a good start to the weekend. You know, I'm doing some quiet time. Baby starts crying. She's not up. I am. I've already been up about 5:30 to take care of the baby once. I heard her alarm going off. I thought, hey, she's going to be getting up. One of the worst things us guys do is we assume. Whenever we assume, we all know what happens. And so I just assumed, she'll get it. And so she came in, she got him, but man, she was hot. I mean, hot. I mean, just mad. And she just spat it off. She said, it really bothers me whenever you don't help, whenever I think you should. Not exactly how she said it, but essentially it was, I had screwed up because I didn't go get the baby and I didn't follow through with the expectations that she had.
yeah.
Didn't say a word. I was mad because I thought, woman, I've already got up and taken care of the baby once. Your alarm's been going off for an hour. Why didn't you get up and get the baby this time? That's what I wanted to say.
Anger part.
And so I just took it, and I didn't say a word. That's normally how I get. That's not good marriage advice at all. I shut down. I just assume not talk anymore, and that's not good. I should have just said exactly what I thought. Yeah, I should have. But then gushers sometimes, man, they go fast.
You got to find a healthy balance.
Oh, yes.
Trust me, I understand.
I should have just spoken to the moment. But then here's what's the craziest thing that happened. Craziest thing. I dwelled on that moment for the next 24 hours. Mm-hmm. I could not get it out of my head. And man, thoughts went bad. Like, she doesn't love me. She doesn't appreciate me. I blew it. I screwed up. Then I go just mad, anger, hate. Just, it'd be better with somebody else. It's just crazy, man, how that transition can go. All from one moment.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's probably other things that have built up, probably let things built up. But, man, that moment, I couldn't get out of my head for 24 hours. Nothing but lies, man. Nothing but lies, nothing but hate and disbelief in myself. And it was not good, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, I think it's super important as well that we don't, and talking about loving yourself and loving others, one way to love yourself is to learn more about God and to grow in your relationship with Him. And for me, I didn't, even though we both, I know you know the truth. I know the truth of the Bible, but it's, man, different than just knowing it. It's applying it and pulling it out whenever you need it and taking that, slow to anger, slow to speak. It doesn't mean stuff.
Yeah.
It means slow.
Yeah.
And so I think it's one of those things that for me, I'm a stuffer. And like you said, it's probably a bunch of things at one time. And I think that happens for a lot of us that, well, it's just small here. That's nothing. I'll blow it off. And you may forget it for a moment, but it's still in you.
Yeah.
And it happens to where, man, those thoughts run crazy. They run wild. And it's a lot of times, I know we talked about it way back when, but and that's where it got me to was, do my thoughts have me or do I have my thoughts?
Yeah.
And really shifting my mindset to go, you know what? I'm going to work through this. You know what? I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. Because I was creating conversations within my head that weren't even happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, it was just, and that's why with talking about like the quality, do you value? And that's why for me, clarity, communication is so key. Because I was having a conversation within my mind that wasn't even taking place, that wasn't true. And then it was just, it was one of those things to where if you don't get a hold on it, it will get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So that happened to me on a Friday, our incident. And so we were able to finally um, kind of have this moment where it's like, hey, let's just get away. We ended up taking the baby and we ended up going out to eat. And I'm still kind of struggling through it. We had kind of moved past it. We had kind of already made up a little bit, but I was still like, this is just not good. Like I still feel bad that like we haven't talked about this because it just impacted my day so long. And I've been studying a whole lot about my thoughts and just the different ways that the enemy will come and attack us. And so, man, I just blew it. I just told all. I said, listen, I feel like everything right now, my mind has been completely under attack in every way. And I think that the enemy's coming after our marriage. And then, dude, I just start crying. I said, because it was like heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
To think that what I love so much is just getting filled with lies and deceit.
Yeah.
And those lies and deceit are giving roots to destruction of the one of the things that I cherish most deeply.
Yeah.
And I just started crying, man, because I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so we just had an open conversation and said, this is where it's happening. On Friday, whenever you did that, I didn't understand why you got so upset. And then I just took it and my mind went everywhere with it. And because of that, I felt incredibly bad all day. And I tried to place the thoughts and I can't place them. None of them seem right. And then she just began to open up as well about her thoughts that she had. And what was crazy is that we both felt like we were blowing it.
Yeah.
We both felt like unloved and uncared for, or that we weren't loving enough or caring enough. She felt horrible for what she had spatted off, but yet we never did communicate it or apologize through it. And so here we are, both getting lies and roots of deceit in our own minds, not mad at each other per se, but both feeling that we aren't worthy and we aren't good enough for each other. And I'm thinking, dude, there's just a huge wedge.
Yeah.
And could you imagine that for years? If that continues, and I mean, we're young in our marriage, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm hoping that at least we're seeing it now, and we're having conversations to start. And it doesn't matter how long, whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. What it comes down to, I think, in all aspects of our life, this concept of belief that we aren't loved, that we aren't good enough, that we are blowing it, that we have failed, and that's not true.
Yeah.
It's not truth, man. It's not truth. But yeah, man. Any other thoughts with that?
Yeah, I think that within that as well, and I want to encourage you, like you just said, whether you're in a relationship or you're not, the most important relationship that you can have is with God. And I think that so often this even takes place in your relationship with God.
Yeah.
I don't feel loved. You know what? I'm not a good enough Christian. You know what? I've blown it too much. You know what? I'm too far gone. Yeah. And the enemy will put that in your mind. He'll put that in your mind, and he'll even give you an example.
Yeah.
He'll give you an example of how you've blown it. He'll give you an example of other relationships of how you've blown it. And how could someone love you? This person can't love you. How could God love you?
Right.
But I want to encourage you, want to dive into the true love of God, the true love. The world will give you a definition of love. The world will give you a definition of who you should be and what your relationship should look like. But God gives you a true definition of love. God gives you a true definition of what a relationship should look like and how you should walk through it. But are you diving into that relationship with Him, or are you allowing these lies to even put a wedge between you and God? One of the things that we like to say is real recognizes real. The more real you are with me, the more real I'm going to be with you. Same thing with God. The more real you are with God, man, the more real God will become to you. And so I want to encourage you, man, dive into that. Be real with Him. And that's one of the things that, like, I know in previous episodes we've talked about prayer life and things like that.
Yeah.
That's something that I've been able to open up, that in my car, in my truck, whenever I'm driving, no music, me and God having a conversation.
Yeah.
I know it seems a little crazy, but I'm just able to open up and talk about and pray through, and just knowing that, hey, there's nothing that can separate you from His love.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But are you going to believe it, or are you going to believe the lies? We have a choice on what we believe, but so often the enemy likes to twist it to make it seem that way. And I think it's funny you mentioned at the very beginning, because I struggled with this as well whenever it happened, was Does she not appreciate the things I do? Does she not see this?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the enemy will like to twist it and turn it back on the other person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's crazy to think that in a relationship with God, that you think that you could twist it and turn it on him, the one who sent his son to die for you.
Yeah.
But we do. We twist on him.
We do. Yeah.
God, you haven't given me this promotion. God, you haven't done this. God, you haven't helped my family. You haven't done this. You must not love me. You must not be there. And the enemy will twist it to where we become angry at him and build ourselves up to be something amazing.
Yes.
And it's like, man, I need to humble myself.
Oh my gosh.
And just take a look in the mirror. But I know we got a little.
No, man, that was so good. That is so true. Because that's obviously what we want. We want to love ourselves. We want to truly believe that God has made us special, that God does love us, so that we can fully love others.
Yeah, for
sure. I mean, I want to kind of finish up with this verse. This comes from Psalms 139. I thought maybe this could just be some truth. That no matter what you're believing in any sort of relationship, that there is truth out there that does believe that you are full of worth, that you are full of value. And it comes from Psalms 139 and 13 through 16 says, For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. And I think that part, man, the truth is ingrained in us, but there's just so much lies, man, coming at us. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. And man, this is just, there's so many of these verses. We have heard this before, and I just wanted to bring it together, as we finish this up, that God sees you, God loves you, God cares for you, and there's value. There's value in your relationships. There's value in the connections that you're making. But we believe that our own thoughts and our own beliefs about ourselves, so how God sees us first, will be a driver for healthy relationships in the future, healthy marriages, healthy friendships, and ultimately, like Brandon said, a healthy relationship with God, the one that matters most.
Yeah, that's so good. And just as we finish up as well, this is something with talking with people, because you may be listening to this, and even though we even just talked about, hey, even if you're not in a relationship, I really want to encourage you that even if you're not, but also if you are, to apply this. If you're not in a relationship, see yourself as a gift. Honestly, see yourself as a gift to someone. And am I good enough gift to give to a daughter of God? Am I a good enough gift to give to a son of God? Man, how can I grow my relationship? That was something I heard once before that I was like, whoa. I never really focused on myself. I focused on what I wanted, but I never focused on what someone else needed.
Yeah.
And man, am I the kind of husband that I would want my future daughter to be with?
Yeah.
Am I the kind, and looking at that. So it really is valuable to grow in that, but also don't feel bad about loving yourself. I think that so often we get that we've heard that because yes, pride is wrong. But I think the enemy will like to twist that, man, the opposite of pride is not loving yourself. So I think that so often we don't love ourselves. Yeah. And we focus on loving our neighbor, loving our neighbor, loving our neighbor. We're constantly pouring out. But I want to ask you, is it true love? Is it true love that you're showing your neighbor? Because the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
That's right.
So you have to love yourself. You have to take time, and don't look down on yourself for taking time for yourself to grow in a relationship with you and God, because like we just talked about, you have to know who you are, and God will tell you who you are. But do you know who you are? Do you know whose you are? Are you believing who the world says that you are? And I think that will change your mindset to love God, to love yourself, which will lead to you loving others.
That's right. Guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Monday Mindset.
See you all.